में नहीं होगा. So let us start with the topic. Right? So what is anyone knows who is this?
Throat cancer.
Very good, very good. So he is a Roentgen, right? Robert Roentgen. He's from the Greek, right? He was a mechanical engineer, and even he's a physics teacher also, right? So what happened? So he one day, right? He was passing some fluorescent lights on the wooden जो होता है ना, so that wooden part. So when it is passing through that, accidentally some new rays appear over there. He has got some new rays over there. So जब new rays वहाँ पे आ गए, so he don't know that what is the name of that ray. So हम लोग बोलते हैं ना rays के लिए नाम होता है, जिसके लिए नाम नहीं है. But for that there is no name for that rays. So usually in maths, right? अननोन जो होता है, जो नंबर हमको पता नहीं होता है, उस नंबर को हम क्या लेते हैं? What letter we need? Anyone knows what letter हम लेते हैं? Unknown.
X.
Yes. And so he has given the name for that ray as a X. So because of that, the name has been come as X-ray. Understood? He has invented that one that is called as the X-ray. Okay. So he has invented in the year. Kindly please mute. Only something you can unmute and you can answer me. Otherwise, I'm present because it is a too much disturbance for me. It is a right. Okay. So now in 1895 he has invented the X-ray. Right? So next, this is how the X-rays are produced nowadays. So it is like a glass tube was there in that anode, cathode. I'm not teaching here physics, just for a basic knowledge we should know that. So when there is a cathode, anode, tungsten plate and a thing, so then the X-rays will be produced. Right? Right. So next we will be going for the positioning for the chest X-ray, right? Any X-ray you take, there is some basic thing you should know what position you have to put. जब right patient goes to the doctor, they usually write at a chest X-ray in bracket. They will write a PA view. They usually write as a CXR, that is nothing but chest X-ray. Okay, PA view. So here, what is the positioning over here? So basic, right? So this is what commonly using position to take a chest X. So यहाँ पे right, so you can see here this is the X-ray source. Then from this X-ray source, X-rays are coming over here and it is touching our back. And in front of him here there is a cassette. That cassette contains a film. X-ray film, no, that film, right? So what will happen? X-ray is coming from the posterior side, and on the anterior side we have the cassette over there where the image is going, right? So this view is called as posterior anterior view. What view? PA view. Posterior anterior view. So यहाँ पे posteriorly we have a source. X-ray source रहता है, पीछे से आते हैं, right? So because of that is called posterior anterior view. Right? So here you can able to see here the person is right, he is right, he extended his neck over here, one thing. Second thing you observe his arms, right, abducted and is keeping on his waist. Why? Because, so when we keep the, right, this this shoulder joint, right, abducted and keeping on the, right, the trunk over here. So because of that, we will get more space here. We will get more space, means what space? Intercostal space. So we can visualize the structures properly over there. Is it clear? And second thing that whenever we are taking the chest X-rays, always they are taking the inspiration only. लोग बोलते चेस्ट एक्सरे जब लेते रहते हैं, before we shoot the X-ray, he asks to the patient like take deep and hold it. Hold to kitna? Hardly you have to hold it for 10 or 20 seconds. It is not like a minutes to them. Is it clear? Because if you want to clear visualization of the structure, the person should deep breathe and the shoulder side, it is abducted and you have to keep right the on the waist. This is which view? Posterior anterior view. So this is what aerial view, what you are going to see here from the upper side, how the posterior anterior view is there. Again, the source is coming from the posterior side. X-rays are hitting over here. The image is produced on this region. Is it clear? So when like this it hits, no, the X-ray hits from the posterior side, image is producing on the anterior side. When you want to visualize the anterior part of the structures in the thorax, and repeat, when you want to visualize the structures in the anterior part of the thorax, so you have to take this view, that is a PA view. If you want to visualize the lung and heart, especially the clear vision. If you want to visualize it, you have to take PA view only. Clear? Okay. So next, this view, you can see here now, the lady is lying down here. The X-rays are coming from the anterior side here. And the image, right? So you can see here under the cot, here is a cassette. That cassette contains of the film, right? X-ray film was there, which looks like black, right? So this is what anteriorly it is hitting the X-ray, and here the image is producing the body. This is called as antero-posterior view. Which view? It is called as antero-posterior view. So here in this X-ray you can visualize the posterior structures, especially the thoracic vertebrae. And this X-ray you commonly they will take in the bedsides when the patient is in ICU, when patient is not able to stand, when the patient is not able to go for a prone position. So that time they will take especially this antero-posterior view. So two views already we have seen now, posterior anterior view and antero-posterior view. So next comes this one, this is the lateral view. So from this side the X-rays will be there hitting here and image will be produced here. So you can see the position of that patient over here. See, she is like it's holding something on the upper side here because as she holds, what will happen? The intercostal spaces. Why she is not keeping, or the patient is not keeping on the waist means, if you keep this hand over on the waist, the image, you can get the upper limb images. So we are not able to see the clear image of the thorax. So every view has a separate applications of there. So commonly we are using these views, posterior anterior view, antero-posterior view and lateral view. Quickly revise. This is the antero-posterior view. This is posterior anterior view. Again, this is also the posterior anterior view. This is, yes, lateral view. Okay. So next is about, this is what I have told, posterior anterior view. If you take the X-ray like this, how the image we will get it? We will get like this image. So what is present there, what is not there, don't worry at all. You just think like that, if we take the posterior anterior view, we will get the image like this. Okay, where we can see the lung and heart clearly. Is it clear? When you take this view, antero-posterior view, see here, you can see the lungs, but not so clearly, heart, only the shadow, but you can see very nicely the vertebral column. Because I have told you, antero-posterior view means posterior structures you can see very clearly. Posterior anterior view, where you are going to see the anterior structures very clear. Is it clear? Okay. So this is what? Lateral view. In the lateral view, how that image you are going to see over here. Is it clear? Okay, so let us see what is radio-opaque and radiolucent. Usually these two terms you should know if you want to study about the X-ray. Radio-opaque is nothing but it is dense. and resist to pass the X-ray. It is a dense and resist to pass the X-ray. Means what? So here you are going to see a bony structure here. This bone is what? Sternum. So it is dense and resist to that X-ray. Because of that, it will not allow that X-rays to pass through them. It will reflect back. So because of that, we are going to see the bones clearly in the X-rays. And here you are going to see some soft tissues, what you are going to see here, right? So this is called as radiolucent. Radiolucent is nothing but the structures, right? Which will permit the X-ray to pass through. Understood? What is radio opaque and what is radiolucent? With that, now we'll move for the X-ray of the thorax proper, right? So like this, can we get it like this, the X-ray when the patient comes to us like this, labeling and everything? No, no. We'll never get like this, only we are getting the film. This is what for the understanding purpose they have done the labeling. So when, right, so जब भी right X-ray film आता है, तो then we have to read that X-ray. Read that X-ray means we have to see what structures are there, whether it is a normal X-ray or abnormal. Before anything, you go for reading that X-ray, studying that X-ray. First and foremost thing you should understand, there something is written here, it is a L, and here it will be written as R. That is most important thing you should first when you hold that X-ray. So that exactly here right is means it will be written as right, and here is a L. So that right what it is, it should be on your left side. So hope so you are understanding now what exactly your film you are going to see, like this only you are to hold it. Here what it is right has been written, hold it in left hand and see it. Means, so this X-ray is like that, the person is standing in front of you and you are seeing all the structures there through this X-ray. Are you getting? So first and foremost, film pakadna seekhne ka, right and the left. That is most important. So then once you see that, what are the structures we have to see there? So first is the bony structures we have to see. So anything, just he has got a complaint of cough, then you are advised for an X-ray. So mera kaam kya hai? Sirf you have to see the lung and base do. No, you have to see all the structures systematically. So first and foremost you have to see about this bone, that is the clavicle. Then you have to see here, this is the sternum, that is a manubrium sternum. Then you are going to see a joint here, clavicle and this manubrium. This joint is called as manubrium sternal joint. Sorry, this is called as sternoclavicular joint. I'm extremely sorry. This is the clavicle and this is the manubrium. Right? This is called a sternoclavicular joint. Got it? So then after that you have to see here, this is what scapula. This is what you are going to see. This is the acromion process here. This is the acromion process. And below here what you are going to see, this is the coracoid process. I'll repeat once. So first you have to see the clavicle, manubrium sternum, then sternoclavicular joint, go that side, check for the acromion process, then the coracoid process. Once you see all that, then you come over here, you're able to see some vertebrae you are going to see here. Yes, these are the thoracic vertebrae. You can see here, hardly you are going to see 1, 2, 3 and 4. That is it. Then you are going to see the spines over here. They are going to see the spines of those thoracic vertebrae. Then you are going to see these structures. These are called as the ribs. These are called as ribs. In between the ribs, what you are going to see, this is the intercostal space. In between, you see, this is the intercostal space. So these all comes under the bony structures. What you can see in the chest itself. Right? So then when you go to the soft tissues, means for the organs. So let us see what organs you are going to see. This is as it is right. This is the right lung and this is the left. Right? So then after that, in this lung, what you have to see? You have to see the apical region in this region. So how will come to the normal and abnormal compare with the both the apical region? Whether they have the same looking it is there or not. Usually lung will be studied till here it is called as upper part. From this till here it is called as the middle part. And below it is called as the lower part. In three zones usually we study the lung. So this is the upper, this is called apical. Then in the middle also you can compare with the both the things whether they are looking to mean similarity or non-similarity. If it is non-similarity, then we go for the pathology. So here, yes. So then you have to go for the lower part of the lung, in the lower zone. See here, can able to here is the most important structure you have to see is this point. This point. This is called as costo-phrenic angle. Costo-phrenic angle. So if your anatomy is very strong, you can read anything. Read means what? The identification of the structures in the images. So this is what one of the pleural recess is there. So this is called as costal pleura with a diaphragmatic pleura. That is called as costo-diaphragmatic recess. On the both the side. Are they blunt or pointed? Yes, they are pointed. These are the two things you have to see in the lower part. Then you right. So these are the things what you are going to see in the lungs. So then when you go to the heart here, shallow the heart. So most important thing you have to see is the left border of the heart. This is what you are going to see. This is the left border of the heart. So exactly in the left border of the heart, from the upper to the lower, you can see here it is called the aortic arch. This is called the pulmonary trunk, left atrium, and left ventricle. Are you getting? So this is the left border of the heart is formed by the aortic arch, pulmonary trunk, left atrium, left ventricle. The right border of the heart, you can see here, superior vena cava, right atrium, and small part of the inferior vena. So these are the structures what you have to observe in the cardiac shadowing, right? So then comes the diaphragm. You can see here the line what you are going to see here, this line, this is the diaphragm.
Sorry to disturb you, sir. Please repeat the right border of the heart.
Sure. The right border of the heart is formed by, see here, means right border of the heart usually is formed by the right atrium only, when you study about only the heart. But here I am specifically telling you about the X-ray. So when it is like that, you have to go from the superior vena cava, right atrium, So here superior vena cava, right atrium, and a small part of the inferior vena cava. Okay. So then we go for the diaphragm. See here, this is the right side, it's the right dome of the diaphragm. And this side you are going to see the left dome of the diaphragm. Repeating, two domes. So in this, normally when you are observing the X-ray, check that the right dome of the diaphragm is bit higher than the left dome of the diaphragm. I'll repeat, the right dome of the diaphragm is higher than the left dome of the diaphragm, because here there is a presence of the largest gland of the body, that is none other than liver. Then once you observe these two domes, then you have to observe this left dome of the diaphragm. Below that, you are able to see a gas, black color structure. This is the gas which is present in the stomach. This gas is called as the funding gas. This gas is called as the funding gas. See, remember, below the left dome of the diaphragm, if the gas is present, that is normal. Again and again, that is normal. Unless and until, what you call, we used to study embryology, rotation of the gut. If it is rotating in the normal, abnormal way. In an abnormal way means the stomach is coming on the right side. At time, the diaphragm here below that, it is the, if you are getting, at that time you will be getting the gas below the right. It is very, very, very rare. 99.99% you will get the gas below the left dome of the diaphragm. Don't worry about this. Is it clear? So these are the things what you have to see here. Then we have to see now this upper tube-like structure which looks like black. Because of air is present, this is it, right? So this is the tree. Understood? It comes over here and leaves. These are the two principal. As it is labeled here and marked here, so it looks very simple. But when you see the plain X-ray, you have to imagine yourself what structure and where they are from. So only I will tell you, if your anatomy is strong, it is easy to read anything in the images. Right. So let's go into the next image here. It is like this X-ray. You are going to see here. There is no labeling and nothing. There are no marking. So here, this is again a PA view of the X-ray over here. So here, can you able to see here the bony landmarks I wanted to show you. These are the ribs. This is the clavicle. This is the ring. This is the vertebral column. Right? This is the intercostal space. Already we have studied in the previous film. So this is what nowadays with this, right, you can reconstruct as it looks in a living person. Nowadays the softwares have come with this X-ray. If you have some doubt with this rib, some fracture is there or anything, you can check it by reconstructing that film by the 3D reconstruction we call. See how they are looking like this, right? So here they will be coming from posterior side, they will come and end up here. This part you are not able to see. Why? Because that is the cartilage. From this rib, they are joining to the sternum to the costal cartilage. You can't see that. Only you can see the bone parts. So next, this is about the trachea I wanted to say. See here in this just X-ray PA view. So this is the trachea. It comes up to the fourth thoracic vertebra. This angle is called as sternal angle, or it is also called as angle of twist. So exactly at this level, this trachea divides into two. That is the right and left main or the principal row. And the angle exactly where it divides, this is called as angle of carriage. Okay? So this is about the trachea, how it looks in the X. Clear? Okay. So let us see this diagram, this image. Again, this is a X-ray PA view where you are going to see the bony parts and all other things it is there. But here I wanted to concentrate only on the diaphragm. I wanted to show you here right dome of the diaphragm is higher and the left dome of the diaphragm is lower. And can you able to see the funding gas below the left dome of the diaphragm? Yes, it is normal. Yes, this is very important point. Please give your attention here. So this is what is called as a cardiothoracic patient. So when the X-ray has been taken, they will say the patient is suffering from the cardiomegaly. What is cardiomegaly means? Enlarged heart, that is called as an enlarged heart. So that how they will come to know heart, that is a cardiomegaly is there or not? How will you come to know? Yes, by X-ray. See here, first you have to make 2 points on the heart shadow, maximum diameter of the heart shadow. You are able to see here, here is a 1 point and here is a 1. Then you have to measure maximum diameter of the heart from here to here. For example, if you are measuring from this point to this point, approximately you take it as a 30 centimeters. It is not an exact measurement. I am telling you roughly, I am telling you for your making, I wanted to make you understand about this measurement. So roughly you take it as a 30 centimeters. So this is what exactly the line is there, maximum diameter of the heart. It should be less than half of this. Less than half of this means if it is a 30 centimeter, this measurement should be less than this. Less than half of this means it should be less than 15 centimeter, 15 centimeter. Hope so you understood. For example, if this is a 30 centimeter, if this is a up to 15 centimeter, or you take it as a 13 centimeter, it is normal heart. If it goes 20 centimeter, then it is abnormal because it is exceeding the half of diameter. So you can suspect the cardiomegaly. Then you have to rule out the things. Are you getting? Yes, I'll show you one more diagram here about the cardiothoracic ratio. This A line is what the maximum diameter things measure over here. Then you have to measure the maximum diameter of the thorax. So the maximum what it is there is this length should be less than half of this. The A should be less than half of B. Hope so you understood. If it is more than half of this, then that is called as the cardiomegaly. Right? Okay. So let us start with some of the interesting X-ray now. Sorry, not this. Sorry. Before that, you have to complete 2 more X-rays over here. So this is how it is in the lateral view of this X-ray. I told you what structure you are going to find. I'll show you here. So in this lateral view, usually we advise the patient to take a lateral view to check about this thoracic vertebrae. You can clearly visualize these thoracic vertebrae. In between that, you are going to see the space. That spaces are called as intervertebral disc. Are you getting? Yes. So now here, what the bone you are going to see? This is the sternum. This is the sternum. Now, the in between that sternum and this vertebral column, the space what you are going to see, this is called as mediastinum. This mediastinum, this is the upper part, this is called superior mediastinum. Then this is the inferior mediastinum where you are going to see the heart in the middle mediastinum. In front of that, this is called as behind the sternum, retrosternal, or it is called as anterior mediastinum. Behind that, you are going to see this is the posterior mediastinum. I'll repeat once. This is the mediastinum what you are going to see here. Okay, so this is the space in between the sternum and the vertebral column. This is the thoracic vertebrae. So this mediastinum is by drawing one line here. This is called a superior mediastinum. The whole thing is the inferior mediastinum. In the inferior mediastinum, the center part is the middle mediastinum. And in front of it, this is called as anterior mediastinum. And behind the heart is the posterior mediastinum. Then you may get some soft tissue images you can see here. You can see the mammary gland image also. You can be able to see over here. Then here you are going to see the diagram. Is it clear? So these are the things what you are going to see in the lateral view. So then next X-ray thing here. Can anyone guess what it is? X-ray? What anything? Here you are going to
So dextrocardia.
Dextrocardia.
Very good. See, I have already told you, when you are reading about the X-ray, you have to hold first right. See, on the right side, you are going to see that border. Usually, we will get like this border here. Instead of that, we are going to see that is nothing but the dextro. So here, during the development, actually, heart tube has to fold properly. If it fold in improper way, in opposite direction, this is called the dextrocardia. Nearly 99.5% has the normal heart, which is present on the left side. But hardly 0.5% people have this dextrocardia. But remember, it is a normal. No problem at all. If dextrocardia is there, so that will be a pathological. This is normal. When you detect this accident, because normally the patient will complain about the patient on the right side. When you accidentally you get the right sided heart, so tell them to go for the ultrasonography or the CT scan, the MRI of the abdomen. to locate whether the abdominal organs are present in the normal places or they are present as a mirror images. As I have told you, the gas which is present in the left dome of the diaphragm, here usually we will get the fundus. If that mirror image, if it is there, instead of the fundus on the left side, we will get on the right side. To check the cross check of the organs, whether they are normal or abnormal places. Are you getting? This is the image of dextrocardia. Right? Okay. So let us move for this X-ray now. Can anyone guess what X-ray is?
Cardiomegaly.
Very good. Very good. Very good. So my part is done. Hope so you have understood what is the things over here. Yes. This is usually the patient comes to you not like that. My heart over here. Usually patient arrive to your PPDs with the complaint of shortness of the breath and the headache. Shortness of the breath means with the patient complains, full breath vehicles, short breath will be. And then they will come with the edema, means full body swelling, especially the pedal edema, lower limb swelling. And they will get some breathlessness when they walk for some distance. If it is three things, if you advise for the X-ray, usually we will get like this image. So this is what here, it is the enlargement of the. How you assess this one? As I already told you. First you have to OPD में यहाँ पे measure, roughly you can measure, no? यहाँ पे हम लोग scale लेके brightness of the patient is right? Roughly you have to measure. So this point to this point and this point to this point. Roughly it is more than half, so it is a cardio. When the cardiomegaly is there, you have to rule out the cause. Usually the cause is related with the valve. Valve stenosis हो सकता है या heart disease, right? So I will be covering very few causes and everything. इससे ही होता है. I am not able to tell, right? So you have to rule out the pathological condition. Just I am telling you, this is a abnormal X-ray. You have to find out the cause. Some of the complaints I will share with you. Is it clear? And what findings? What I am telling you, it is according to my experience. I am not a radiologist. Radiologist can interpret very well than I am just an anatomist. So I will tell you which is normal, which is abnormal, what might be the probable cause. Okay, right. Right. So here there is a wall stenosis might be there, heart disease might be there. The causes may vary from patient to patient. Are you getting? This is the cardiomegaly. See, I told you have to go, it's reading the X-ray according to first bony, then like this. So because there is a less time, I'm not covering like this each and every point here. Whatever is there, I'm just going to cover that. Okay? But when you will be explaining for especially first year students, when they ask the teacher, read the X-ray. So you have to read in a systematic manner. But when you go into the practice, also you have to read it in a systematic manner. If you lack of the time, we will treat only what the pathological thing we are expecting. So now, this is an X-ray. Anything you are going to see, observing anything over here? And anyone?
Fibrotic changes.
Fibrotic changes, okay. Any other things?
Tracheal shift.
Okay. Okay, let me explain. See here. Okay, see here. This is the overexposed X-ray. We call it as an overexposed X-ray. So because of that, it looks like a fibrosis. It is not so. So you can see here, compare the things over here. Both the lobes, apical region, it looks similar. Here also it is similar. But as you see overall here, this trachea as it is coming over, this is we call it the hilar. As it is coming over here, you are going to see some clear visualization of this bronchial. This is called as a clear visualization or prominence of the bronchial tree. So it is because of the inflammation of the lining of the bronchial tree. Inflammatory lining of the bronchial tree. Usually patient comes with a complaining of cough with thick sputum. and shortness of the breath, right? So this is what you are going to see in a chronic bronchitis. In a chronic bronchitis. During the chronic bronchitis, you will visualize like this. If a patient comes with complaining that cough with right, usually I am suffering from the cough since 2 days. That's all. I'm having a severe cough since 2 days. Yes, that is a bronchitis, but that is acute. It might be viral. If you take an X-ray that time, you may not find anything on the X-ray. Usually it gets subside automatically after 5 to 7 days. So this is what, after 7 days also there is the cough is persisting. When you ask them to go for X-ray, it might be probable diagnosis that chronic bronchitis. Are you getting? Okay. X-ray appearance is, finding is prominence of visualization of bronchial tree. Remaining thing also you have to observe. I'm just, it depends on the case, I'm explaining only the particular one. You have to see over here, you have to check the border of the heart. You have to check that which is upper, which is lower. All that you have to see. Right and left, everything. Yes. Can you able to see over here anything? The round color structure here.
So it may be lung abscess.
Yes. Anything other than that? Might be.
Say,
But yes. Okay. See here. Very good. See here. This is what you are going to see. The patient complains with the cough with a blood. As I tell you about the complaints, then it is easy to go for the diagnosis. Cough with a blood tinge, weight loss, and the fever. When you just check that patient, weight loss, usually he was supposed to be like a 60 kg person was there, his weight was there. Suddenly he got a weight loss in a year, 10 days he has become suddenly 40 kg. 20 kg weight loss. And he is suffering with a cough. Yes. So here you are going to see the tubercular patch over here. This is nothing but, this is the solid, right? It is called as consolidation, which is having the solid structure, right? Solid thing. Inside that, it may have the cavity, it may not have the cavity. Okay? So this is the consolidation with or without cavity. And usually, if you are suspecting the tuberculosis, please check in the apical region. These apex of the apical region of the lungs are commonly involved in the pulmonary tuberculosis. Can you please the mute, please? Can you please mute it?
Sorry, sir.
Okay. Sorry, it's a bit diverting me, so I told you to mute it.
No, sir. Actually, मैं भूल गया था mute करना. Sorry.
Okay, उतना मत involve हो जाइए X-ray में, right. So here you are going to see the patch over here, right? It usually it appears in the apical region over here, right? So it looks like, right? We will call it as a cotton puff appearance. Cotton puff appearance means usually we use the powder puff we use to apply the powder for the kids. तो puff powder में dip करो और वहाँ पे लगा दो surface पे. How it looks? जहाँ पे puff है usually not yet, but उसके margin पे लगता है. Same like that appearance you are going to see over here. So this is a tuberculosis. It is a serious infection of the bacterial disease. It mainly affects the lung. Are you getting? So sometimes you may get with this, sometimes you may get some of the lymph nodes are enlarged in the hilar region, where exactly trachea enters. It is called as a hilum of the lung. Here you may get that hilar. Same thing here, you are going to see here, compare both the lungs here, and able to see almost the left lung is not so much involved in the tuberculosis, but you can see that right now. I told you when you are seeing, you have to compare with both the things here. See here, you are going to see the round structure, consolidation with or without cavity. Here also you are going to see. Here also, right? So, right, because of the corona nowadays we are using the mask, we are not spitting in public places. So because of that nowadays the pulmonary tuberculosis has come down. It's a good thing. right? Usually this pulmonary tuberculosis come from person to person, go through that sputum of the bacteria will enter into. Is it clear? Right. This is what tuberculosis, powder, cotton puff appearance. When you're expecting the tuberculosis, please examine or please check in the apical region. Right. So this is what exactly, the one more thing, X-ray about the tuberculosis. You able to see here tubercular patch over here in the apical region. Sorry. Yes.
Sir, in the previous slide,
Yes.
is both the images are of same person?
No, different person. This one, no? Different. This one. Sorry. This one. It's no? No. This is different.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Shall I proceed?
Yes, sir.
Okay. See here, you can see in the apical region. But what happens, sometimes we also might be in confusion state whether it is a patch of the tuberculosis or is there any growth or anything. To get a differential diagnosis 100%, we have to advise for a CT scan. In the CT scan, they will take with the CT of thorax with the contrast. They will inject the contrast media and series of the CT images they will take. This is how it looks. You're able to see here, these are the lungs. See the same patch over here. See, you're able to see here, I have told you consolidation of that structure. Means that structure will become solid. And inside that, you are going to find a cavity. Are you getting? This tissue, usually, right, it is damaging that lung tissue. So because of that, it is becoming like a solid. Once it is solid, 100% there is a breathing difficulty will be there. Is it clear? So this is about the tuberculosis. Yes. Now this X-ray. Anything you are observing here in this X-ray? Some clouds are running on the lung. Anyone? Okay, let it be. So this is the Ashutosh. Am I running out of the time?
No, sir. No, sir. Please continue, sir. There is only.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
We have
Okay.
time, sir.
Okay. Right. So here you can see here in this X-ray, this is the PA view, where you are visualizing on the upper side everything is normal, in the middle also, but somewhat in the lower part of the middle part, in the lower part. Some lungs, right? So this side, the right lung. So it is sometime, right? It is looking like something is covering on. It is not covering on the surface. It is inside. Inside. So here, this is the case of the pneumonia. We call it as a pneumonia. So it is what? Pneumonia is nothing but usually the patient come with a complaining of cough with sputum. Then he says about sometime the pus, the white part with some pus also it is there in that sputum. Then he complain about the fever. He tells about chills. Then he tells about difficulty in breathing. It is because, so what will happen, we know that this is the, what you call it as the bronchial tree. As it goes, last part of the bronchial tree, what we are going to see, this is the alveolar sac. Hope so you know that part of that lung. Right? So alveolar sac is the last part. So where exactly the gaseous exchange will be there, right? So it is nothing but inflammation of that alveolar sac. Inflammation of that alveolar sac. So it might be, right, single alveolar sac or multiple alveolar sac, it might be like that, right? When it is a group of the sacs will be involved, sometimes it will get first like this patchwork, right? It is not called it as a patch, it is called as air space opacity. Opacity means like a transparent. Air space opacity means we are not going to clear visualization of this black color. So here we are going to see like a white part. So it is called as opacity, right? So here is the air space opacity is there because of the involvement of the air sac, right? So then what will happen? So if this part is the air sac is involved only here, then what will happen? Interstitial means neighboring also alveolar sacs are involved in 100%, they will be uniting that. So because of that you are going to see this much, right, opacity. So this is what we call it as a pneumonia. Pneumonia might be involved, means single lung may involve, both the lungs may involve in this, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. So here one more X-ray is there where only the lower part is involved over here. You are able to see here opacity. You can compare, whenever you are comparing, compare with the neighboring lung. So then you will come to understand, right? If you are visualizing on the same thing, yes, might be the highlight. So that time you have to check it, right? So this is the pneumonia. Got it? Right. So anyone, this case, what is this case? Whether everything is normal here? Yes. See here, we are going to see the PA view of the chest X-ray. See here, both the apical region is normal, middle part is normal, but in the lower part, can you able to see here, this angle is normal. You are going to see, I have told you, this angle is very important clinically. But can you able to see this angle? Almost it is invisible only, right? So this is called as a pleural effusion. Before you know what is pleural effusion, you should know the anatomy of this covering of the lung. Lung is covered by a membrane that is called the pleura. This pleura consists of the two layers, parietal pleura and a visceral pleura. In between these two pleura, right, we are going to see the pleural fluid, right? So usually, right, that pleural fluid is there, which will prevent the lubrication between the two layers. But due to the what you call the improper pumping of the heart, sometimes the inflammation, sometimes inflammation of this pleura, sometimes that CHD, then sometimes kidney failure, sometimes pulmonary embolism. Any cause it might be. So because of that, there is a excess collection of the fluid in this sac. Okay, so for timing, just understand, excess fluid collection is there in the pleural sac. So because of that, how you will understand by the X-ray? Check the angle. So this angle, which angle? Costo, right? Diaphragmatic angle. Even it is also called as costophrenic angle. Phrenic is nothing but diaphragm. And here one more angle you will get. This is the costomediastinal angle. This angle is called as costomediastinal angle. You can check out both the angles. Almost it is become like a blunt. And I have told you it looks like a opaque. I told you it looks like a white because lung is almost covered by that white part. It is nothing but fluid is there, right? So this is a radio opaque, or it is an opacity radio, right? In the X-ray opacity of the opacity of the lung and with the blunting of the costophrenic, ultimately even depends on how much fluid it is there. So it may extend like this upwards also. It may cover a whole lung also if the person doesn't take that treatment. Okay, even right. So this may be associated with some other conditions, right? Like a heart problem, kidney problem, anything it will be there. So that is called pleural effusion, right? Right. So this is about the pleural effusion. So next, what is this? Okay, this is the PA view of the chest X-ray. So you're going to see both the lungs over here. But here you can see here this is a trachea. It is not in the midline. It has been pushed to the right side. Because see here the lung usually, right, this lung, person suffering from the tuberculosis. So I have told you that tubercular patch we have seen. It is a what? It is solid. It will becoming a hard. Once it is becoming hard, it is extending toward the parenchyma of the heart, this lung. So because of that, this lung will get a fibrosed. Fibrosed means what? I think so you have seen in the dissection that lung is a very like sponge-like structure. But it will become like a hard sponge. Once it becomes hard, then what will happen? So it is means taking that trachea, means it is pushing that side. The lung will be staying this side only. There is no dilatation, there is no constriction, nothing during inspiration and expiration. So because of that, what will happen? The trachea will shift towards this fibrosed. So usually when you are going to observe this midline shift of the trachea, you may suspect the fibrosis of. And this fibrosis of the lung usually is secondary to the tuberculosis. the person is suffering from the tubercular history there, and there might be chances to get if you got a fibrosis with the person doesn't got it? This is lung fibrosis. This is what arrow we have shown. So this is what the lung is pushed. Means it has been exactly the entry point should be here, but it has shifted to here, upper shift, right? Okay. So this is the X-ray, the most interesting X-ray to see here. Usually when you see the PA view of the X-ray, this is the right dome of the diaphragm, this is the left dome of the diaphragm. Usually here what gas you are going to find, this is the normal. But I have told you, if you are getting any air black color thing below the right dome of the diaphragm, that is abnormal. So what? Usually the abdomen we get the stomach, intestines, all stuff, right? So these intestines usually whenever leaking of the any viscous by the perforation, right? But the perforation means what? So anything has damage to the wall of the intestine or anything in the cavity of the abdomen. So because of that leak, the viscous. Yes, it might be the peritonitis, correct? So that secondary to that perforation, after that perforation, it will be leading organ. So usually the patient comes with severe abdominal pain. When you do the palpation of that abdomen, when you do that, that is called as severe tenderness, gardening will call it as gardening you will get it. They will not allow you to touch. So immediately you have to advise the X-ray and 100% that the person usually it is suffering from any perforation. If it is there, that is an emergency condition. We have to treat immediately. So because of that, whenever there is an abdominal pain is there, don't give diclofenac injection. So this is the it may lead for the perforation also. So because of that, don't give the diclofenac injection. Again, this is a different platform which injection what you have to give. So as I experienced in some of the cases, so I'm telling you what I experienced personally, right? So this is what about the gas what you are going to find on the below the right dome of the diaphragm. This is an emergency condition.
Sir, it's only found below right lobe.
Which one? It may find on the left also. It may find on the left dome, but we can't differentiate. Not that time. So because on the left dome of below the left dome of the diaphragm, it is normal. Correct? Are you getting?
Yes.
Okay, so we have to differentiate only the abnormal thing, right? So below the left dome, it is a normal. If it is a below the right dome, if you are getting, that is the abnormal, because air is traveling upwards, right? When it is there, it will accumulate on both the sides, but we have to check mainly in this region, correct? So what is this? So this is the X-ray. This is the right nowadays is corona, right? COVID-19. This is a chest X-ray of a COVID-19 patient. What is the difference between that X-ray and COVID-19 and other X-ray? Yes. So here, can you able to see this hilum? I told you that trachea will come and bifurcate. Can you able to see the trachea image? Bifurcating right and left. Right is a smaller, left is a longer. So as it enters, so here is a hilum. So here exactly what you are going to see, the nodes are enlarged here, lymph nodes. So this is called as bilateral nodular enlargement. So both the side nodular enlargement is there. And you can see this is the lung on the both the side. Can you able to see here like a glass, that opacity, right? Glassy appearance like that, right? So this is the peripheral glassy opacity. You can able to see here also, like something glass is covering on that one. This is called as peripheral glass opacity. So this is a bilateral nodular enlargement, then peripheral glassy opacity, and somewhere you will get consolidation. We're going to see the consolidation, right? So this is how we are going to observe in the X-ray of the COVID-19 patient. Is it clear? So these are the some X-rays. What commonly the what pathological involved in the chest region, right? So let us test yourself. So let us find what X-ray, what exactly you have to find out the X-ray. So can anyone tell me? It is not so clear image, but try to answer this. They are not. This is a chest X-ray PMU. We are going to observe the bones, observe the heart, lung. In the lung, you are going to see the round patches. Yes.
Tuberculosis.
It is written. Yes. Yes. Pulmonary tuberculosis. Right. So this one. This one.
Cardiomegaly.
Cardiomegaly. No. Not data. This is a normal X-ray. See, you don't come to directly the conclusion. It is less than half, you know. See, I told you here. This is just check right door by the left of the diagram.
Yes, sir.
So this is the normal X-ray. It's a normal X-ray only. Only the labeling is there. So because of that, you are saying it is cardiomegaly. Even that line also not touched here also. It's okay. No problem. Okay.
Excuse me, sir.
Please.
In the last slide, sir,
Yes.
we can see the nodular enlargement, right?
Yes, but it is not a nodular enlargement. See, it is exactly here we will get the nodular enlargement. Exactly here. Okay, so it is what I have told you. It is hyper-exposed. When it is hyper-exposed, we will see very clearly. And this is what digital X-ray is. So you can adjust anything. So they are clearly, they have done, means the darkness they have decreased, lightness they have increased. So because of that, it is looking like that. It is not a nodular. Again, I have told you, depends on the X-ray. We can't tell if the person is suffering from this. We can provisionally diagnose. Again, everything is depends on the patient's complaints. Okay.
Thank you.
So what is this? What is this? Very good. This is robot dextrocardia X-ray. So this one? Very good. So my part is done. If you understand this much, means my job is done. At least you should be able to know which is a normal X-ray, which is the abnormal X-ray. Again, abnormal, as you go into the practice, you will come to know. Right? So thank you so much. If you have anything else, you can ask me.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
One thing I want to mention, sir.
Sure, please.
Sir, I've never seen a better X-ray slide than this. I've clearly seen the hard work of you making this slides beautiful and so understanding that you know the exact what we don't know and you just find it out only that point. And then this seminar today have this and have full knowledge of how that if any patient has come and shows me the X-ray, I can clearly distinguish about normal and hyper. Thank you so much, sir.
Welcome. If you have any doubts, you can ask me anytime. It is not like that we only here. So you can ask me.
Sir, before this lecture, sir, actually was very big thing for me, but now it's become like that in my copy, my mind.
Okay.
Yeah, no one tells in our college that how it is such a big job to distinguish about this. There are so much of types of lung pathologies. Now it is clearly we can collaborate.
Okay. This is not like that. Everyone should teach us. It's our responsibility that we should get the knowledge from wherever we get, either from book or whatever it is there. Don't blame the teachers over there. Being I am also a teacher over here, so it is not like that. It is how we have some interest. So 100% we should also learn. like that. Even I learned from many doctors and everything. So many senior teachers were there. From them also I have learned many things. It is not like that only my hard work is there. Even it's because of all gurus who are telling us.